Hello everyone, welcome to a brief inquiry into the 1975. Hey, what's up everyone, I'm Laurie, I'm one of your hosts. I just wanted to put this little bit at the start, just saying I really apologise for this being so long since our first episode. We've had so many problems trying to edit and everything like that and recording, but we're finally should be back on schedule now. We should be weekly from now on, I believe. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. There's just going to be a new segment at the start and then the main part of the podcast. Today we're reviewing the EPs. This is part one of our EP review episode. Hope you enjoy, guys. Hey, what up everyone, it's me again. I just also want to say, I'm going to make a Discord server for the actual podcast. If anyone's actually interested in joining that and talking to us, the only reason I'm doing that is because I kind of want to connect with you guys and do I don't know, I want to make the whole podcast more fan orientated. I want to have some of you guys on telling your stories and why you like the band and stuff like that. And I feel like Discord's probably a good way to sort all that stuff out. And also just to talk to you guys, you know what I mean? And secondly, we're kind of looking for an editor as well. Which hasn't been too successful because I've been editing, but the process for me is very slow. And we kind of need a new person. So if you're interested in that, message us. I will say now it's not a paid job, so it's literally only if you're interested. Thanks guys. So for our news, the North American tour has just ended, and now they're kind of in the festival season. We didn't get anything on June the 1st, sadly. Feels weird talking about this because it was so long ago. Once again, I really apologise because we're so late on this. But Matty went off in Alabama about abortion. I'll put a bit about that here.
There's people, men in the American government, actively comparing the harrowing, difficult life choices of female American citizens to the Holocaust. To the Holocaust. That is a disgrace.
The big Weekend and Rock am Ring performances are now online now. Matty confirmed that we'll at least get a single from Notes by Reading, but I completely doubt that because it's been a while. Give Yourself a Try just turned 1 year old. And Matty won Ally of the Year at the Diva Awards.
Do you want to start with what our favorite EP is? Maybe that's a good place to start.
Sure, man.
I suppose so.
Anyone want to go?
I assumed it was Afton who would kick us off with that.
Oh. This is so hard. Okay, wait. Oh my god. Okay, it's not Sex.
Okay.
Damn, that's my fave. Damn. Breaking my heart.
Okay. So it's either no, because that's all three of the remaining.
Just rip it off.
No, I literally can't choose. Because okay. So it's so hard because Facedown has Antichrist, which mwah. But it also has Facedown. It has Woman,
Yeah.
And Sex, even though it's not, because actually no, I lied. I don't know, because Sex, You,
okay,
and Milk, and Undo, ooh, and Musical Cars, a No Brain, Head Cars Bending, Me,
yeah, okay, so, but hun, we need an answer.
Cards alright, Falling for You, it hits every time, and I can't choose.
So, we just got the track listing in its entirety from Afton.
I left stuff out.
Okay. Laurie, do you want to talk about why Sex is your favorite?
I mean, sure. Well, I mean, listen, Afton just listen. It's between Sex and 4, but I think I'd go with Sex. Just because, I don't know, well, Sex is a great song. And honestly, I prefer the EP version. I don't know why, there's something about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what it...
It might be IV.
Mhm.
Sorry, 4.
I mean, that's fair.
I
mean, yeah.
I
That's still
think it's
fair.
because the only reason I don't want to say that is because I really don't like Falling for You, which I've talked about, which we can
That
talk about
hurts.
again when we like go through them importantly. But yeah,
Most EP songs for me.
I think
Damn.
it's Matthew's favorite song. In that interview he did, yeah, he talks about it a lot. In that interview he did with Coachella for K Rock, I think it was. They asked him like, which song would you put in a time capsule for people to find 100 years from now or something, and he was like, I probably should say Love It If We Made It, but I'm gonna say Falling for You because it's his favorite song. I think he thinks it's their best
It's
song.
a pretty timeless song.
The difference between the EP version of The City and the album version.
I have to say, the first EP version, like
Mhm.
on Facedown, I really prefer it to the album version. Like, I just like it. I think it's the drums.
The
but
the
I
bass
like it
is
better
the
than
bass
album
is so
version.
much louder.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't really like it is you can really tell it was made on a laptop. Like,
But I like that.
I like it as a fact. I think it's like cute, but I don't really.
Is the city the one that has the EP version is just drowning in bass?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like.
Yeah. Okay. Right,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right.
It's
I
really
remember
it's
now.
really upfront and really fuzzy.
Yeah.
It's
I
really
definitely prefer the album version.
it's really emo. Like it's proper emo.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The
Antichrist is my favorite one of their songs. And, I don't know. It's just like,
yeah.
it's so, like, this sounds so, like, I don't know, but, like, you know when you're listening to a song in the car
Yeah.
and it's so loud that your car is shaking?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how it makes me feel.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I get
No.
that. Yeah. I think Matthew's like voice does that a lot. Like his
Yeah.
voice is like
And, like, the background music, not the background music, but, like, the music to the song is
Yeah.
just, like, like, so much about it is just, like, so gorgeous. And, like, the vocals, like, it's quiet and it's sad, and I think that that's really, like,
and then it like goes hard. No, I think that's a really special song because I think a lot of the times when we hear like a you or Matthew referring to like talking to someone else in a song, it's within the context of someone else saying that to him or him saying that to someone else. Like when you think if we're gonna do or you got your skinny jeans anyway, like I'm not thinking about myself in skinny jeans, I'm thinking about the girl who has a boyfriend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this time he says you, it's speaking to you, like to the listener.
That's a good observation. Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
think that happens very often, and I think that's one of the things I noticed. And I think what you said about the insurance is really cool. I've always gotten this vibe. I listened to it with my older brother in the car who like hates every single song that I love, and I actually love every song that he loves, but you know what I mean. We like have really opposing music tastes, but we both kind of have like cool tastes, I think. Whatever, that's
Right.
weird to say for myself, but he heard it and was like, it's earthen.
Yes.
It feels like soil. It sounds so weird to say that.
That's exactly what you mean, though.
Yeah.
I think I agree.
I just think every time I hear it, I think of like an Irish landscape or some shit. Like,
Really.
Oh,
yeah.
my people. What's
Yeah.
But yeah, and just like, I don't know. It's just like, it's really cool.
I'll talk about the story behind Woman, I guess, if anyone doesn't know it, but it's about a prostitute that he met when he was young. I think he was like 19. Nothing happened. But he said that he kind of fell in love with her a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's the direct quote from how he prefaces it in the NPR interview. I mean, performance. But yeah, I think maybe that's, I think the lyric where she says to him, and you try chasing dreams, man, it's harder than it seems. Like that, I think about if he was 19, he's like not famous. He's trying to be a musician. I think he's like trying to be a musician. I mean, he's in a band and they think they're the shit, but like, I don't know if this was the same time frame, someone can correct me on this, that they were like getting courted by the major labels and stuff, and like, I think it's just an interesting like quote to put on your first record. The Sex EP is a good defense for the 1975 being a rock band. Because hear me out. If we apply the same argument that Maddie says when he talks about why they're not a rock band, which is if you take sex out of our arsenal, what?
Oh, wait, do I agree? I don't know, actually.
He always says, like, if you were to take sex out of our arsenal, we're like an R&B band, or like whatever the fuck, which like I don't really know. But I think if you take Undo out of Sex, besides intro set 3, but they have that ambient thing already that they like fucking do every now and then. Like, Sex is fucking rocking. You isn't necessarily the same way, but like the ending of that is loud.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Milk is just straight up.
Milk's fucking awesome. Yeah.
I don't know why, because I don't listen to that much Australian like punk at all. Like at all. But every time I hear Milk, I think of Australia.
Interesting.
I have no idea why. If someone else has this experience, please let me know so that we can like ruminate about this together.
Are we gonna talk?
Clark, do you know what else makes me really happy?
Doing the podcast.
Undo. And this is gonna be something weird, and I thought about what I was gonna say on the podcast. It made me appreciate Matthew more when the lyric was, "I could hear you giving her head," she said. Just saying. I'll just say it.
Is that not the lyric?
It is the lyric.
Oh. Okay.
But I think if I had to guess how that lyric would have been written if I were Matthew, it would have been like, I could hear her giving you head. Sorry. Which makes Matthew out to seem like a fuckboy, which I'm not saying he is, but maybe it would have been more believable. And I don't know. Appreciate Homeboy. Okay, we can move on now, because that's a really weird point. Feel free to take that out. So weird. What is that about? But I think it's important. No, it's not. It's not. I hate myself. Okay, I think Undo's just a cool song. I think it does, we talked about it lyrically a bit already, but that first verse is really pretty.
It's great, I'd say.
Is that the first...
I just think, like, yeah.
Is that the first obvious mention of downers? Or whatever they're called? Benzo? Not really benzos, but like, stick another pill in my head, she said? No, stick another and go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think
think
before
so.
that. Oh, and the next one's the MD, you'll be feeling just fine. In the city.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the other reference. But yeah, I think
it's
an early door. Early.
I think, like, it's kind of what you said about Falling For You. Like, I don't think the song is gross, but when you think about the lyrics, like, it's kind of gross.
Yeah, I didn't... Yeah. The chorus is weird.
Girl, I want to see you undo it. I want to see you, but you're not mine. Like,
Do you know what?
actually, I don't care about it, but, like, it's
Yeah.
gross.
This is actually funny, because if I had known... Like, the first time I heard Falling For You, I think I, like, got all the lyrics as, like, correct. And the first time I heard Undo, I thought it was stick another pin in your hair. And so I assumed Undo was, like, her, like, undressing, like, her hair. Which makes me sound so, like, fucking naive and, like, Catholic schoolgirl. But, like, honestly, at the time, I was so convinced it was, like...
I used to think it was stick another pin in my head.
Oh, God, that's morbid.
Yeah, but, like, there's this Cage the Elephant song where he's like, it makes me want to stick a toothpick in my mind. So, like,
Whoa.
it makes sense why I thought that.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
another song going around my head that has a word like that.
Yeah.
Is that in it?
Yeah, I get that. I think, like, I always think of it, especially the type of 90s that they're really referencing, as, like, baby making music. Like, that's always what I've thought of it as.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
I think that's how it's described a lot, and I don't know if I would necessarily describe Undo as, like, a song you're fucking to. I mean, do you know what? it probably makes for a great makeout song.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
I actually think. No, I was gonna say I think Sex, for the most part, is a great EP to make out to, but I actually would not. I would not want to make out to a song called Sex.
Oh yeah, that's no.
That'd be. I would get so insecure. Okay. Yeah, God. Can you imagine being a guy hearing the lyrics, she's got a boyfriend anyways, you're trying to make out with your girlfriend? Yeah, that would be so funny. I think the last song to talk about is You.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you.
Very good song, yeah, I agree.
Oh.
Yeah.
Something we didn't say about Sex that I think needs to be said is the way the 1975 end a song is fucking incredible.
Right.
That
Absolutely.
fucking finger touching the fret thing that Adam does is insane. Like, it's so good. And I don't think
so
it's...
funny. I find it so funny because Maddie says they're not a guitar band, they're a drums band. But I disagree.
Well, I think the first album gives a good defense of that. Like, the first album has some fucking great rhythms. But I think on the whole, like, if you don't know that, like, all that much about fucking music and shit, like, which I don't think many people who love the 1975 aren't all, like, fucking musicians, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I think if you're just a fan of the band, like, I don't blame you for thinking that. There's an interview with Saturday Night Online, and he describes themselves as guitar and B, and I think that's a sick description for them.
That's a really cool description, yeah.
I think it's really cool. I really liked it. And I think, like, if that's the case, like, I don't think they're the first band to create it, but they're the first band to give it a name, so...
Yeah.
Take that, Brian, you know? Yeah. Okay, so You is, like, a great song for the way because of the way it builds, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, when the kick drum comes in, it's like... Doom,
Yeah.
doom. Like, that is fucking sick.
I agree.
God damn. And then... Oh, I will say...
Yeah.
Go. No, you go, because I think I'm about to oppose what you're saying.
I was just gonna say I love the end of the song.
Oh, when
Do you wanna dance? Do you
I was
wanna dance? Do you wanna dance?
I was about the only. I don't actually like that part. Like, lyrically is the wrong word. I don't. Really, I kind of want to know what the song would sound like without it. But the one thing I do love is when he after that, like in the bar in the back of the hall, do 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 do, like that little guitar bit.
My favorite part of You, I changed my mind. It's the 4-minute silence.
Biblical, it really is.
Lori, what was that
when
like for you?
With 1 minute and 13 seconds left in the song, it just makes me sad.
What was that,
Silence
Hannah?
is over.
When, like, when you were listening to it and you didn't know that milk was coming, and you just knew there was. Yeah. Did you know that milk was coming?
Me?
Mhm.
No. Well, I was sat there about a minute, and usually Spotify will put on something by another artist when I finish listening, or I'll put on another 1975 song. But it kind of didn't, and I was just kind of sat there. So I was skipping through, like, just making sure there was nothing, and then I did skip to milk, and it fucking scared me. But,
What'll happen to me really often is I'll be listening to them, a You will come on, it'll go into the silence, Milk will come on, and I'll have forgotten I was ever listening to music.
Yep.
Because it's been 4 minutes.
That happened to me. I would re-listen to it today, like before we did this, and that exact thing happened.
Honestly, that's why I asked to start at 4:30, because I had to make something to eat, and then I had to listen to it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think I was trying to see if I could do this, but I do not have the attention span. There's like a really cool thing that they do that I'll talk about definitely more when we get into how they make a song. But I think the way that You ends, if you were to keep a metronome going the whole time, and someone who actually knows about music can do that for us to like maybe confirm it or just might know the answer. When Milk starts, it starts on a downbeat. I think, like, if you would like come right after it, so it like that's why I think it also feels extra jarring. Like besides the fact that there's just a guitar in your face, but
downbeat.
Yeah, I think that is why. It's kind of like the drums in Runaway, if anyone knows that track. You wouldn't, Afton.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wait, are we talking about the Kanye?
Yeah,
song?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Great song.
Yeah.